Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, Welcome in. I'm going to let you guys trickle in. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Welcome. Let me know where you are tuning in from. First Lady Shields, good morning. Yolasand, good morning. I am Grace, good morning. Miss Jackie, good morning. Lady Five says, you look beautiful, says, thank you so much. Um, Tobless to be stopped. Oh, too blessed. I said topless. Too blessed to be stopped. Good morning, Sunny Sun. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Miss Jackie from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's a good day for me. Hi, Obioma. Long time no see. What's going on with you? Today's a great day for me. A lot of times here, well, let me introduce myself first. My name is Aisha Chidole, and I'm an immigration lawyer. I help clients all over the United States and internationally get their green card, their U.S. citizenship. Whether that's through a family-based petition or based on humanitarian grounds like, VAWA, trafficking, victim of a serious crime, and stuff like that. I'm very excited this morning because, I get to do this every day for other people. And today, my mother-in-law got her green card. She's in Nigeria and she got her green card today in her hand. Well, I should say her immigrant visa, which is essentially a green card. So she gets to come here as a green card holder, which is very exciting when, you get to do that for a member of your own family. And especially with the timing and what's going on right now, it couldn't have come at a better time. So I'm very happy today for that. Someone said, your smile always is soothing to my nerves. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Marvi says, I really need your help. I had a consultation before. Then call us. If you need our help, just call us. Our phone number here is 407-995-6567, or you can also call 678-333-1037. And then you can send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751. I hope I gave you guys the right numbers. But either way, it's on our profile. Well, actually, no, it's 678-325-1037. Guys, there's too many numbers, so I can't remember all of them, but it's on our profile page. It's also scrolling through the ticker on Facebook and YouTube. Someone is asking, I have a question. Can the medical for your green card be done in any state? Yeah, you can do it in any state as long as it's with a USCIS sanctioned civil surgeon. And they follow what USCIS has asked for. Sure. Right. I'm in Seattle. I want to petition for my spouse. I'm a citizen. Please call us if you want to petition for your spouse. Be happy to help you with that. We'll of course want to know what your spouse's immigration history is. How did they enter the country? And all of that good stuff. And then we'll go over what the requirements are for you to petition for them. But the time is now, I will tell you guys, like with this new administration, we've definitely seen them being very aggressive with sending notices of intent to notices to appear in front of an immigration judge, sending notices of intent to deny instead of RFEs, which gives you only like 30 minutes. I mean, not 30 minutes, 30 days. To respond, which is really short for a lot of people, depending on what it is that they're seeking, with the goal for them to basically deny you and then send you an NTA. So, the best way to protect yourself is to make sure that you are using someone who knows what they're doing, and understands what right now immigration is asking for, is seeking, or understands the pattern to be able to help you. Because we joke in the office and say every Friday we get a new update on a change in immigration, and something personally that we've seen that's been happening in our practice. For those of you who have work permits, please do not delay filing for renewal at like month 5 or month 1 when it's month 1 remaining. We're seeing that a lot of cases, they're sending receipts 3 months later, And they're not, it's not just that they're sending the receipt notices for the renewal work permits 3 months later. Now, their new way is that for the 765s, they're, even though, let's say, let me use a simple example. Let's say you mailed your packet, your renewal of your work permit on like May 5th, and it got there on like May 10th. Normally, they would have it there that they received it on May 10th, even if they send that to you later. But now, no, they're going to, whenever they open it is when they're going to log in as a receipt date. So they're going to log in that the receipt date was August, like if they open it in August, right? And then they will issue a receipt saying it's August. But if your work permit was expiring in June, then that means you will no longer get the benefits of the extension with your receipt notice, because it would be considered not timely filed, even though you filed it timely. But because they're just, either they're severely backlogged or they're just not opening. I really don't know what's going on with USCIS, especially with work permits renewals. So if you have a work permit, the responsibility is on you, not your lawyer. Just like it's your responsibility to renew your driver's license and your passport, it is your responsibility to know when your work permit is expiring and make sure that you are applying literally at the 180-day mark at this point to get for the renewal, so that even if you get a receipt notice that says it wasn't submitted till 3 months later, that you can still take the benefit of the extension. Okay. To Blessed, congrats to your mom-in-law. Thank you so much. Thank you. My VAWA case is 27 months. I already have a work permit and an advanced parole. I've received 5 prima facie determinations. Why is it so long? It's so long because that's a normal timeline of VAWA. There's nothing to be scared about. Once your file is on the table of an officer, what usually happens is they will either request additional evidence, they will approve your case, request a notice of intent, or they will send you a notice of intent to deny, or outrightly deny it. Like, so you will know once they start reviewing your cases. VAWA cases are taking 3 years now to 3.5 years. So you're just 2 years and 3 months in the process. So you're still within what we consider a normal timeline. Okay. Let's see, what other questions? Sonison says, thank you for what you do for humanity. Oh, thanks. Because let me tell y'all, like, immigrants are going through a lot, but immigration lawyers are going through a whole lot, because we get to be the shock absorbers and the one who deals with the client frustration and also deals with the visceral coming from USCIS and immigration and all the new immigration rules. So you're getting it from both sides, and it can be a lot. And we receive that transfer of energy and stress, but we'll continue to do the best we can and just pray to God for a sound mind, because it's not an easy time to be an advocate now. But that's why it's even more important to be an advocate, because so many people are in a vulnerable situation. So many people need help, Okay, so let's see what other questions I have. I had my citizenship interview in January, and I passed, and I was given the congratulatory letter, but I'm yet to be called for an oath, and I checked online. It says waiting for a decision. I would reach out, since it's been more than 6 months, I would reach out to USCIS and ask them, saying that you received a congratulatory letter, and that you were just checking to confirm when you'll be scheduled for an oath ceremony. Sometimes that's the nudge that you just need to make. They may have just not moved your file over. So I definitely recommend reaching out to USCIS. My husband is getting ready to file for his citizenship. However, he was found inadmissible back in 1998. Will this prevent him from getting his citizenship? That is too vague of an immigration history for me to be able to answer. Like, what was he inadmissible for? Because does he have a green card? Do you mean he's trying to get his green card? Because inadmissible means that he's not eligible for a green card. So I'm not very sure I understand your question, but I'll be happy to consult with him to understand like his immigration history and go over eligibility, whether that's with the green card or with naturalization. Because I don't know if you're using the term citizenship for green card or what you're using it for. Question, I went for my I-751 interview and also my N-400. They said they're going to send me an answer in the mail. What is next? Do you think it was approved or not? I wouldn't know if it was approved or not. Like, I don't know what your case is. I don't know what happened at your interview. Only you knows what happened at your interview. Just pray for the best. If it's not approved, then one thing you need to do is to understand what it is that they're asking for you, so that hopefully you can correct whatever it is if they're requesting additional evidence. But I wouldn't know because I don't know who you are or what your case is or what happened at the interview or your immigration history. Why is it now you're asked to do another biometric for removal of conditional green card? Biometrics is not a big deal. When they ask you to do your biometrics, go do your biometrics. Sometimes it's just because, if your case has been pending for a while, they may do like a refresher where they'll say, oh, we do your biometrics so that we can make sure there's no new criminal records. Sometimes they don't need it. They're able to use your old biometrics and you'll just get like a letter saying biometric bypass. Meaning that they don't need to do a new one, but it's just a normal process. Like if your case has been pending for a while, which tends to happen in removal of conditional green card cases, or sometimes with valid cases, they'll ask you to do another biometric. So it's not a big deal. Is it safe for someone to apply for their green card when they already have the U visa, or should they wait for a new administration? They should absolutely apply for their green card if they're eligible for the green card. You do not wait for another administration. Like every day that you don't have status today is a riskier day than you applying for status, okay? If you're being qualified and saying, you're eligible, while we can't guarantee anything because we go based on, a lot of times people will come to us in a consult and tell us one thing, and at the interview, more stuff will come up where they never disclosed it, So one thing first I would say is that you should never lie to your lawyer, okay? It's always important to tell us everything that's going on because to me, it's better for us to be honest with you and say, you know what? You don't have a case right now. If you file a case right now, you are going to find yourself denied, or you're going to be subject to an NTA or potential deportation, or you have a viable case. Go ahead and submit your case and let's see what the USCIS officer makes a decision. But it's best to put everything on the table. That's literally why you're going to a counselor, which is what a lawyer is, to be able to counsel you legally and say, based on the scenario, you should be filing or you should not be filing. But anyone on the soil of America who is eligible for a green card, permanent residency, or U.S. citizen, you should be filing right now, because what will end up happening is you will get picked up randomly and they will ask questions later. So please do not withhold or wait. Move your case forward. And that is why I try to post. Well, I was posting this even before this administration results every single day, like just so you can see, like we are getting people like where we applied in like June or July. Funny enough, like the cases, like the marriage cases that we've applied for this year, those ones, we are getting interviews in like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, even before they get their work permit and travel permits. And thank God, by the grace of God, all of them thus far that we've gotten, I think we're waiting on 2. They've been approved. So essentially what I'm saying is, people are still getting approved all the time. And that's why, I like to post those approvals so that you guys understand that, yes, there is a very strong attack and aggression towards immigrants, but it doesn't mean that if you're eligible for something, you will be denied. If you're eligible for something, apply for it, because that's why the law exists, right? For you to apply for it and get it. If you're not eligible for something, if you have a frivolous application, you would be in the category that should not be applying for anything, because again, you will be arrested, you will be put in deportation. So if you have a viable case, please apply, okay? Okay. My valid case was approved. The I-485 was filed concurrently. What do I need to do next? Congratulations, first of all. I don't know how long ago your VAWA case was approved. It just depends. We're seeing a little bit of a backlog with from VAWA approval to your 485's decision, because they are scheduling quite a few people for interviews for the 485. Like, we're seeing more interviews now versus before. Once your VAWA is approved, they may send you an RFE for like your medical, because most VAWA cases that are approved now were people who filed before medicals was no longer, they didn't have the whole, it used to expire before. Now they don't expire, but so most likely you'll get an RFA for medical. But now, because they're interviewing more VAWA applicants, some of these things are going to take time. So it depends. It's Rich Trish, like when your case was approved, for me to be able to say maybe you can do an inquiry and stuff. Am I able to get a social security number with an approved I-360? Absolutely. If you had an approved I-360, hopefully you should have gotten your work permit. You should have gotten a C-31, unless you didn't check off C-31. I mean, you didn't check off on your form that you wanted an EAD. If you didn't, then you can apply for one now. But if you have that EAD, then you can go to the Social Security office and provide that to them with the approval letter, and you should be able to get your Social Security card. Okay. Eula says, congratulations to you and your family. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Okay. If you keep getting prima facie determination letter, does that mean you're in the right direction? Okay, so I want to correct this misconception, because I know in the past that there have been people online that have given inaccurate information, that have said that a prima facie determination letter is basically an approval. This is not true. This is not true. So a prima facie determination, let me think of a layman's, like an easy, on legal way to say, is basically stating that we have received your application, and based on your application, you have met the preliminary elements of a VAWA case. If it's a T visa or a U visa, they may say, just on surface level, you have met a bona fide determination. These do not mean that your case will be approved or denied. It just means that you've met the basics just from reviewing your packet, just like, okay, they have this, but we've not dissected the information. Once your file then gets to the reviewing officer, that is when the dissection begins, to go through your immigration history, to go through your declaration, to go through your evidence, to go through your criminal record, to go through your cohabitation evidence, to go through your qualifying marriage. And at that time, if you don't have enough for them to make a decision, they will then issue a request for evidence. And depending on your response or what you provide, if it answers what they need, then they will approve you. If it's not enough, they will deny you. Okay, same thing. If they have all the evidence they need, but believe that you don't qualify, for an example, what could that be? Let me use an example. An example of that could be based on you having a criminal record that makes you ineligible based on good moral character. And this could have even come after you submitted your file, or based on, yes, on the surface, you have a divorce decree, you have a new marriage, but as we've dug deep, this previous divorce decree is not a valid divorce decree that could disqualify you. Or we've dug deep and we see that, when you filed for your tourist visa or your visitor's visa 20 years ago or 15 years ago, you said you were married, but you were never really married. And so we intend to deny you unless you can prove that you got divorced. So those are the fine-tooth comb that they begin to look at when they're actually doing your packet. So yes, a prima facie is good in that at least they're like, okay, at least the packet on the surface has everything, but it's by no means a guarantee that your case will be approved. Okay, but it's still a good thing to have. So again, I walk between the line of, I don't want to make anyone feel bad, but I want to be real with you guys. At the same time, because I'm not going to tell you that, if you have a prima facie, most likely you've won your case, which I've heard, some people say that, which is not true. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else. Evolving Person says, thank you so much for chatting with us today. Oh, you're welcome. Humphrey says, my VAWA has been approved for the past 2.5 years now. Yeah, that's a really long time. You might want to try congressional assistance if you've already tried your field office and they haven't scheduled you for anything, just to see if you can get a decision, because that's a really long time. Someone is asking, traveling down on advanced parole, how safe is it? And this is a question that is very sensitive to a lot of people, because sometimes they don't like my answer. But at the end of the day, again, my job is to give you the risks and you can make the decision on your own. People are like, well, why do I have a travel permit if I can't travel? So here's the thing, historically, the travel permit allows you to travel, right? And come back while your case is pending, right? But as tides change, I have to let you know what we're seeing. I've told, like, for me, a lot of my clients, I advise against unnecessary travel internationally unless we have some sort of decision. Now, I make a decision on travel based on what stage you are in your case. I will give you guys a true story example so that you can then assess yourself. We had a client who was approved for VAWA. Okay. The clients received an RFE. Did they receive? No. The client didn't receive an RFE. The client was approved for VAWA. They still had their work permit and travel permit from their adjustment of status that was pending. So, the normal stage is that from the VAWA, they will schedule them for an interview, or it will be an interview bypass and they will get approved, right? The next thing, the client leaves the country. The client doesn't inform us before they leave the country. They left the country, and then we got a letter in the mail saying client's case was denied because client did not respond to the RFE. And we're like, wait, what? What RFE? We didn't get any RFEs. The client never received any RFEs. What are you talking about? But get this, the client was outside the country. So what does that mean? That the client cannot come back into the country, right? Because right now the case is denied, right? What ended up happening, because listen, I am a praying person, okay? I remember calling the client and saying, listen, I don't know what you believe in. I believe in Jesus, but you need to start praying right now. And this is why I tell you, do not travel without letting us know, because it depends on the stage of your case. And I remember, like, we immediately got on top of it, sent a letter to USCIS stating, you never sent us anything. We never got anything. Here's our mailing history. Here's client's USPS informed delivery. We reached out to the congressman for client. All of this happened in January, by the way, you guys, when all of this was happening. So we're just like, oh my God. Like I was, the thing is, I carry the burden of all my clients on my head, even though sometimes they make silly decisions. But again, it's like a mother hen where, sometimes your children can make silly decisions, but you still want to help them get out of the decision. And, USCIS saw that they made a mistake and reopened his case. And I was like, get your behind to the airport right now and get back here. And, as soon as he got back here, he got his green card the next week. But could you imagine if that wasn't an error? Could you imagine? So that's why when I say, to some people, they're okay to travel. Some people, they're not. So here are the category of people right now that I will say do not travel. If you have one iota of an arrest, criminal record, I don't care how small it is, keep your behind in America, okay? Because they can make a discretionary decision to say, well, no, you know what? I don't want you back in here, do not leave. If you have received a request for additional evidence in your case, you've received an NOID, keep your butt in America. Do not leave until they make a decision on your case. The only people right now that in my own firm, I approve to travel are the following: people who have a squeaky clean record, people whose cases, who they just got their work permit, meaning their cases still have years to go, you know, or whatever the case may be, and the travel is an absolute necessity. So this is, listen, we all want to go on vacation, we all want to, go do whatever and frolic, but it's not the time. Why is it not the time? Because you have an administration that is making changes so quickly that you can't even catch up to it. That it's better for you to be prepared than unprepared. I know people, like, especially people who have like tragedies, that get upset, like when I tell them not to travel, because this is what's happening. The thing is, it's not me. At the end of the day, like, I can tell you that you don't have to follow my advice. If you want to travel. If it's painful. It's painful to lose someone and not be able to attend the funeral. But my job, because you hired me, is to keep you in this country, to get legal status. So if I assess and say, this is not safe for you, but again, if you choose to do it, it's on you. I'm not going to give you 100% go, you're safe, you can come back, because I don't know that, So that's my spiel on travel. And so use that or make that decision, based on what it is that I've said, okay? And the other group of people, before I jump off, that right now, you have to be very mindful when you're traveling, and if you don't have to travel, are people who have conditional green cards, for instance, and they've not, either like their conditional green card is about to expire and they've not filed, or let's say they filed and they're now divorced from their spouse, or they're filing based on abuse, or whatever the case may be, or they filed a joint filing and USCIS doesn't have information that they're amending. And this is probably not a good time to be cheating on your spouse, both US citizen and green card holder, because if you're cheating on your spouse, or whatever it is, you, the US citizen filing, or the green card holder, or the immigrant, and you're coming back and USCIS is like, well, you're clearly having an extramarital affair, so this relationship can't possibly be real. They're sending you back, okay? So yeah, those would be the category of people. Guys, I have to jump off. I know I see some other questions. I'm so sorry. I can't get to all your questions, but call us 678-325-1037 or 407-995-6567 to schedule a consultation. I am happy to consult with you guys. Please note that even if you don't consult with me and you consult with any of the other attorneys at my firm, we all work together as a group. There's no case that I don't know about. There's no case we don't discuss the case, what's going on with the case and whether we should take it or not. It doesn't matter. Speaking with them is like speaking with me. So please schedule your consultation. All right, guys. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you guys later.